Hey folks, welcome back to the Lone Pine Tarot. For today's pick a card reading, we have a little bit more of a predictory reading. Of course, as you can see by the title down below, that is what to expect in the month ahead. So I asked Spirit to give us readings based on what you need to know the most going into the month ahead from the time that you view this video. But of course, my readings are always timeless, so whether you watch this now right after I upload or far in the future, the reading is meant for you. So without further ado, let us pick our piles. For pile number 1s today, over here on the left we have Reflect. For pile number 2s in the middle we have Approve. And for my pile number 3s, we have on the right, Ponder. So just to reiterate, pile 1s, Reflect. Pile 2s, Approve. Pile 3s, Ponder. Feel free to pause on this part of the video if you haven't decided which pile calls the most to you yet. Otherwise, whenever you have decided, drop down to either the description box below or the top pinned comment below the video. Click on the timestamp for your reading, and I will see you in our discussion about what to expect in the month ahead. Bye. Hello there, my lovely pile number 1s. Welcome to your pick a card reading today on the topic of what to expect in the month ahead. As you recall, the card that called to you for your pile was the card of Reflect. We have multiple planets surrounding a crescent moon, reflected down here in the bottom, hence the title of the card. And as always, I'll put our pile leader over here on the left for us next to the pine cone. Really quick, this reading will be, like most of my videos, in 2 different sections. The first section will be the more predictive elements of the month ahead for you from the time you view this video, and the second section will be just some parting advice from Spirit on how to navigate the month ahead. So I'm going to split those cards right now. We'll talk about these ones later. And then, of course, I like to always draw the actual tarot cards on screen for you. So, Spirit, for my lovely pile number 1s, could you give me 5 tarot cards explaining what for them to expect in the month ahead? For their highest best good, what would you like them to know? Thank you. 5 cards. All right, well, that one for sure. So we have 1. Let's see. That one right there I'm feeling. Actually, you know what? Then one next to it. 3. 4. And right there. Okay, 5. So there's our tarot cards for today, my lovely pile number 1s. Let's first reveal the oracle cards. So from the Woodland Wardens Oracle, you received the Duck in Chrysanthemum with the subtitle of Luck number 10. That's always a good card to get for a month ahead, right? We always like to hear luck. All right, and then we have from the Nature's Whispers Oracle, you received number 18, New Experiences and Possibilities. Gorgeous card. Of course, the whole deck, Nature's Whispers, is gorgeous, but that one in particular is beautiful. And then last but not least from the Oracle cards, you received She Who Forgives, Elixir, Remorse, Guilt, and Forgiveness. Interesting. So we'll set that up here. Actually make some more space here. I always tell my pile number 1s, you're kind of my guinea pigs for the layout of the cards every day. So thank you for being my brave warriors who came forward and let me experiment on your reading with the layout. But anyways, so the tarot cards. First up we have the 2 of Challenges, which is the 2 of Swords. In most decks, the 2 of Swords is making a decision of some sort. Which is funny, you know what? Actually, I just realized this. Not only do you have Reflect as your pile leader here, this particular card shows someone looking in a mirror. That's pretty interesting. We'll talk about that more in a second here. Oopsie. I got a little jagged here with the cards. I got excited about the symbolism. I was like, ooh, shiny, and then, yeah, okay. And then card number 2, we have Suspension reversed, which is the Hanged Man reversed, asking to look at things from a different perspective in some way. A lot about reflections and perspective. That's interesting. Number 3, we have the 2 of Visions, which is the 2 of Cups, harmony in relationships. Could be platonic, could be romantic. Number 4, we have the 10 of Cups reversed, or 10 of Visions reversed. Something about feeling like we lack emotional fulfillment in some area. And then last but not least, we have, well, it's known as the Wide Wide World in this particular deck, but it's the World in most tarot decks reversed, which is the card of feeling like something hasn't quite come to the end yet. So apologies for silence, pile number 1s, as I look over your cards and put together your message. I'm just going to adjust in my chair and take a drink as I look over and ask Spirit the cohesive message here. So pile number 1s, what's really coming to me as I look at your cards today is in the month ahead, I feel like you're coming upon a time, and you might already kind of be in the throes of this, you might already kind of feel this, but if not, here's a little bit of a heads up. I feel like you're coming upon a time of really looking closely at your relationships to other people. And specifically, I feel a lot of energy from your cards and from Spirit in general of deciding whether to stay with a certain person or a certain group of people or go forward in the future with something new. Specifically, I say that because your elixir card here from Elle Qui, She Who Forgives, remorse, guilt, forgiveness, it's like there might have been a little bit of a, I don't want to say a spat, because I'm not getting major fight vibes from this. I don't think you fought with anybody, or in the coming months that you, like, will fight with anybody. It's not, you didn't get the 5 of Swords, which is usually the card of, like, a harsh battle. And you didn't get the 5 of Wands either, which can also mean, like, egos clashing. It's a very subtle, gentle feeling of maybe a little bit of a conflict, and especially here, having your 2 of Cups as the center card of the tarot that came out for you, it's like that's the central message here, is about a relationship of some sort. Like I said, it could be with a group of people, or it could be with a specific person, either platonic or romantic, could be also a family member, okay? Either way, this next month is a lot about navigating the relationship with these people or this person based on things that have happened in the past that maybe would require some forgiveness there with elixir. But then at the same time, you will become upon a time of wondering, well, should I go into the future? Should I make this choice here with a 2 of Swords and maybe try to find social or familial or romantic fulfillment elsewhere, especially too with new experiences and possibilities being your Nature's Whispers card for today. So that's what I'm feeling for you. It's like, yeah, it's not a major battle. It's not like, you and this other person or this group of people are like butting heads that badly. It feels like almost like a natural growing apart type feeling, maybe even parting on really good terms. It's just that, throughout our lives, and we know this as adults, there are times where we separate from people and there's not really even a good reason. It's not even that there's like a big battle. There's not like a, how dare you? It's just that maybe we find we just didn't quite fit together like the puzzle pieces we thought we were. So I do see just maybe a little bit of disappointment here, just because you did get, like I said, elixir, She Who Forgives, remorse, guilt, forgiveness. So, it's not going to be a complete, I don't feel like it's going to be a complete happy separation. Like, oh, we're going away from each other, great. There will be some sadness, I feel like, some little bit of disappointment and regret. But before we run away from the reading, the good news is that I think it's more emotionally healthy for both of you to move forward in the future and seek new experiences and possibilities, right? New experiences and possibilities to find emotional fulfillment elsewhere. Now, I don't want you to run away from this reading afraid that, oh God, my romantic relationship is going to fall apart, or I'm going to have a falling out with a family member or a friend group in general. I think for most of you, this is probably something you've kind of been, it's in the back of your mind, or it has been for a while now. It's just that nothing really happened that really urged the separation to occur. But like I said, it's a very it's almost like a blessing in disguise, especially because here too you got the Duck and Chrysanthemum. That's the card of luck. Okay. Especially too it being number 10. And later over here you got the 10 of Cups reversed. It's like the current energy is, okay, well, I'm not very emotionally satisfied with this relationship with the 10 of Cups reversed, but in the future you will find people, like a group of friends, or you will find a romantic partner, or you will find someone else that turns that 10 of Cups around, okay? And I feel like the main reason for the separation, or at least like the initial, I'm not sure this might be the best, it might not work out right, is because of differing perspectives here. You have the Hangman reversed here in the recent past position, as I kind of like to see that card. And so, yeah, it's like different perspectives on things. It's not so much that it's not a big battle. It's not a, how dare you, we hurt each other, stab each other in the back type dramatic thing. It's just, it's a healthy separation. And it might even just be temporary. It might not be permanent. Maybe they're going off somewhere and then just naturally, or maybe you're leaving somewhere, moving or whatever for a job or college or whatever is most applicable to you, pile number ones. But, and then later on, it could be that you come together on the path again. Your paths will intertwine again. That is possible. It's just, and especially too, because with the wide world or the world reversed at the end here, it gives this feeling that there's not a finality to this. Like it's not a big dramatic door closing. It's just a little bit of a, the door has been open and now we're going to keep it close to closed, but not quite. It's not a door slam. Okay. It's not a, we're angry at each other slam. It's just kind of, we're just going to leave that door maybe a little bit closed so we can focus on opening other ones in our lives for our own emotional health and for our own growth in different areas. And yeah, especially too with Reflect and the Two of Swords, I feel like because this is in the past position or kind of I almost call it like the inciting incident card using writing terminology. It's like you have been almost kind of debating on this for a while now. So yes, this month ahead for you, pile number ones, is a lot about reflection on this relationship or with these relationships, plural, with this group of people, and what really makes you happy in terms of friendship, in terms of what family members you spend time with, or in terms of who you spend romantic time on. And it's just a little bit of a soul growth thing. It's just a little bit of a, hey, we walked our paths together for a while and now we're just gonna maybe go on parallel paths a little bit more separate from each other. Like I said, not the door slam, just a little bit more open. And this too, I feel like invites in the next month for you, pile number ones, a time of reflection in general for your whole life. Because I feel with these cards, there's a lot of overall thinking about where you're going, thinking about who am I, especially here with this particular Two of Swords. He's looking in a mirror, and you've got reflection as your pile leader, right? And two, next to it, the Hangman reversed is like asking to look at things from different perspectives. You also have a lot of green, not just because you have the Forest of Enchantment Tarot generally has a lot of green in it, but so does your Nature's Whispers and so does your Elixir. She's wearing a green dress, and green symbolically in tarot, or cartomancy I should say in general with all these different systems we're using here, is about healing. It's about growth. And so this next month for you, pile number ones, is a time of a lot of growth. A time of a lot of luck, hence your Duck and Chrysanthemum, in changing who you are for the better in terms of what's more healthy for you. Because that's another thing, too. I mean, even looking at Elixir. What is an elixir but a cure, right? It's a cure for what ails you. And so this next month is a lot about getting better. Okay? Making yourself especially emotionally healthier is what I'm picking up from these cards. What actually satisfies you in life instead of just going forward with, well, here's the base standard, or here's what is, I'll just put up with that, or I'll just deal with that the way it is. And instead of that passive energy, this next month for you is more active energy. Okay, excuse me. I'm sorry, my voice got a little cracky. Instead of that passive energy of, okay, well, I'm just going to sit here and this is what I've got. it's going to shift more into active energy of, okay, what do I actually want and how do I go about getting it in terms of emotional fulfillment in my life, in terms of who I am and what I desire, and in terms of, especially because of that Two of Cups, the whole relationship thing we talked about, emotional satisfaction and what makes me happy in terms of my relationship and my social activities with other people. That's how I'll put it for you, pile number ones. I'm going to take a drink and then I'm going to look at your other cards here just to make sure I didn't miss anything else that I'm picking up intuitively from the month ahead for you. Yeah, and another thing I'm picking up for you, pile number ones, is that if there has been a question recently of your career or your job, and you're at a point where you're not so sure you're quite happy with where you're at, and you'll know this having come to this reading, I feel like this is also a really, really lucky, opportune time for you to reflect on that as well. What makes you emotionally satisfied in your work? Or what is it about where you work right now that you're not emotionally satisfied? Or for those of you who are already retired, I do, have some commenters sometimes that are like, hey, when you focus on career, can you also include us? So I'll do that as well. For those of you who are retired, just a little bit of a side, I feel like it's almost a reflection too, or a time of reflection on what you learned from your career. I feel like you're going to be maybe reminiscing a little bit on that too this next coming month. For those of you who are retired, like I said, maybe you're currently in the transition phase of retirement. You're kind of in that between, when do I decide to retire? When do I decide to take, if you live in the United States, because that's what I'm familiar with, like when do I take my Social Security is another question. I know a lot of retirees ask themselves. I'm not sure what the equivalent is in other countries, so my apologies if that doesn't apply to my friends across the sea or north of me, or south of me. But yeah, so yeah, just a lot of growth, a lot of green, a lot of, I also get the feeling, this is really random, but if any of you are gardeners, because of the focus of a lot of green and health, I feel like you're going to have a really good growing season this year. I know it's the whole year rather than the month I'm talking about, but I feel like your other hobbies are just going to be really flourishing. It's a time of a little bit more introspection, and maybe that's why there's a little bit of a growing apart from other people, or like a lull between finding new people and leaving ones behind, is because you're focusing on yourself more. You're focusing on, what do I want from life? Where do I want to grow? Because a lot of times when we step into that hermit energy, which is, you didn't get the hermit today, maybe you will in your advice section, but a lot of times when we step into that hermit energy of introspection, it helps us separate ourselves from the opinions and the views of the people around us to really glean and find out at the core who we are as people without influence. So I think that's why it is such a fertile time for you in terms of your self-growth in this next coming month. Two, if you've been looking for luck in an area where you've been having bad luck, because you did get the duck and the chrysanthemum, which means luck, like I said. And then two, new experiences and possibilities. I feel like whatever you've been having bad luck with in the past recent months or so, or recent year, you'll find more luck in the next coming month. It's just a very good time for you, I'm feeling, pile number ones, okay? Lovely. So let's go to the advice section of your reading. I want to talk a little bit about what Spirit wants to leave you with parting advice. So let's clear the desk here. Besides your pile leader, we always like to keep the pile leader on. Shuffle your tarot cards. Oh, I love how that deck shuffles. It's wonderful. So those are the oracle cards we talked about earlier. And then, Spirit, for my lovely pile number ones, could you give me 5 tarot cards of advice for them in the next coming month as they navigate this time of growth, please? 5 cards for their highest, best good. Thank you. Okay, well, that one, yep. Let's see here. Number 2. That one right there, 3. Right there. Oh, it's a Butterfingers one. Wants to slip away. Okay, number 4. And then we have, let's see. And number 2. Okay. 5. There we go. Let's reveal your oracle cards for advice in the next month for you as you navigate this time of growth and maybe a little bit of separation for our own benefit. Okay, so Sacred Plan is from your Angel Guide Oracle. So this card is all about how a lot of times, depending on your beliefs, but at least in my personal belief to you, the viewer, when we come to Earth and we live this life, things have been already decided in a sacred plan. And so one piece of advice is just to remember during this next month, pile number 1s, that everything that happens is supposed to happen as it was meant to. Okay, we'll talk about that more in a second. Then your vintage wisdom today is abundance. So remember what I was just saying? Like, this is a time of a lot of growth for you, especially if you're like a gardener or like with your hobbies, with new relationships coming in, maybe as you let some old ones go that aren't serving you anymore. Yeah, abundance. Just a really good time for you, pile number 1s. Let's see. I'm going to actually put that one up here. Maybe it will give some more space. Once again, my poor pile 1s are my guinea pigs. You're my guinea pigs. Okay. And then your tarot cards. We have the 9 of Challenges reversed, which is the 9 of Swords reversed, letting go of anxiety or sadness. Yep. I'm telling you, you're getting pretty good things across the board so far. Number 2, we have the 7 of Cups. This is about choices we make. Remember I was saying, I was like, I feel like, a really good time for your hobbies. Look at all these different things. We have a flower, which is like gardening to me. We have a lyre, or a harp, which is music. We have a hog, which is like maybe tending animals in some way. Let's see. Those are gems, which is I kind of associate with wealth, which is like career. A crown, which is like leadership. A house, which is like your home. Just a lot of choices to be made about where you're going next, okay? Child of Boons, which is the Page of Pentacles, exploring the material world. I'm telling you, like, there's a lot about exploring in this next month for you, or you're being encouraged to, of course, as this is the advice section. Lovely. 4, we have the Huntsman, okay? That is, I believe that is... I'm sorry, I always do this with this particular deck because they change the name of things. I believe that is Justice, but let me check just to be sure. 1 second. I always feel embarrassed when I have to look at it. I should get more familiar with this deck. Let's see, is it number 11? Yes, so this is Justice. All right, there we go. That's what I thought. Just wanted to be sure. I'd rather look at the book on screen or on the recording than give you an incorrect reading. So, all right, so Justice. Yes, Justice is kind of what it says on the tin. Fairness, equality, what's right. And then your last tarot card today is, you got the 2 of Cups again, relationships or harmony in relationships. Yeah, so your advice for the next month, pile number 1s, is a lot about reducing, in any way you can, anxiety in your life. I feel like that might be some of what's driving these times of change, especially away from older relationships, especially exploring more hobbies. Hobbies can also help our mental health. It can help distract us and reduce our anxiety. I know a lot of people that do hobbies just because it helps their mental health, right? Yes, so the 9 of Challenges, Swords reversed is, like letting go of anxiety. Focus on your mental health in this next month, pile number 1s, especially if it's a time of a little bit more isolation in a positive way of reflection and, internal thinking, right? Get into your hobbies more. Try to focus on your self-care in terms of your mental health. Really think about where you want to go in life after this, because yes, it kind of is a door closing a little bit, but it's also another door opening for you. And so this is that really fertile time of having the opportunity to make changes where you would like in terms of moving towards what's more fair to you, especially with the Huntsman, Justice, especially like, let's say you have a job where you feel like you're not being treated fairly, or you're in a social group where you feel like you're not being treated fairly. Seems like there's an element of that because you did get the Justice card, right? Or the Huntsman, as it's known in this deck. Yeah, focusing on that, focusing on choices, different things, almost like you've had your eggs in one basket for a long time, and now this is the time where you're going to take all your eggs and you're going to start putting them in different baskets, seeing what fits, seeing what you like, seeing what fits you, who are you, more self-exploration in general too. And then there is that emphasis too on the Page of Pentacles. Exploring the material world. Okay, this is, well, it's kind of like a Hansel and Gretel reference, I believe, here, because it's the boy eating the candy, right? But exploring the material world, you know, try some new foods, try cooking something new that you haven't done before, try, you know, going places you haven't gone before, try new hobbies, especially with like the Seven of Cups. Perfect time for it in this next month for you, pile number ones. And then 2, we have the Two of Cups re-emphasized again. You got that before. All about relationships. Really focus on your relationships in this next month and figure out what brings me emotional satisfaction and what does not in these relationships, and go where your abundance is and leave behind what doesn't serve you anymore, is how I'll put that, pile number ones. But yes, in general, just to summarize your reading, pile ones, you have a really, really lucky opportunity here in the next month to focus on what makes you you, what makes you happy and emotionally satisfied. Especially good time to try new things, new foods, new places, new people, you know, things like that. And having a lot of luck in these areas should you decide to, you know, pursue one or hopefully multiple different new things in this next coming month. Okay. So I will leave you with that for today, my lovely pile number ones. I'm so glad to have given you a very positive reading today. You know, focus on your self-growth, focus on what you want in life in this next month, okay? I wish you a wonderful rest of your day, and I hope to see you in the next reading, pile number ones. Bye. Hello there, my lovely pile number twos. Welcome to your pick a card reading today on the topic of what to expect in the month ahead. As you recall, your pile leader today was approved with the full moon and shooting stars next to it. Gorgeous card. We'll set your pile leader over here next to the pine cone as always. And this reading, really quick, will be in 2 different sections today. First, we'll have the bigger section of here's what's the month ahead. And then the second section will be advice from Spirit, just some parting wisdom before you go on with your day. So we'll split the cards now. We'll talk about these later. And then as always, I like to draw the tarot cards on screen. So Spirit, for my lovely pile number twos, could you give me 5 tarot cards explaining what for them to expect in the month ahead? What do you want them to know? Thank you. Highest, best, good for pile twos. There we go. And let's see what calls. Okay, definitely that one. I'm actually going to draw the next one next to it. 1 and 2. Let's see. Feeling actually the first one too. 1, 2, 3. Number 4 and right there, 5. Okay. Trying out a new method of picking cards this time. So those of you familiar with my videos are like, what is she doing? I tend to feel like I get better cards or more accurate readings when I feel for them, so to speak. So anyways, if you're wondering what I was doing, that's, yeah. Let's get to your reading. But so your oracle cards, the Woodland Wardens Oracle is, you received the Martin and the Foxglove, Mischief. Very cute. Mischief. Then for the Nature's Whispers Oracle today, pile 2s, you received Be Gentle with Yourself, number 33. Be gentle with yourself. Interesting picture forming here. And then your Elle Qui today is Nemesis, She Who Avenges, Revenge, Outcomes, Justice. Oh, okay. I don't want to say too much yet because I haven't revealed your tarot cards, but I get the feeling intuitively there's something about getting justice in a way you don't expect in the next month. Interesting. We'll talk about that more in a second. Your first tarot card today is the 9 of Pentacles. Enjoying the fruits of your labor, having done a lot of work on something and then it coming to fruition. Card number 2 is the 3 of Swords reversed, overcoming a time of pain. Yep. Feels like things are on the upswing for you, pile 2s, in the next month. Lovely. Four of Cups reversed. Paying attention to something coming to your attention. Number 4, we have the Black Shuck reversed, which is death reversed in most tarot decks. Death reversed is all about feeling like we need to transition into a new phase of life, but we're not quite there yet. I see. And then last but not least, we have the Child, or the Page of Wands or Spells reversed, asking for more exploration of what sparks you, what ignites you, your willpower, your passions, your creativity. So one second as I look over your cards here, pile twos. Apologies for the silence. I just want to make sure I put together the message cohesively, intuitively before I speak. So just a few seconds of silence. Well, I'll tell you this, pile number twos. Whatever you've been working on very hard for in the past month or so, or past few months, there's a lot coming for you in the next month. It's a really good time of fruition based on what you've already done. Things finally coming to, I would guess, a zenith, or zenith, I guess, depends on how you prefer pronouncing it, but I would say zenith. Things coming to a zenith of, okay, I put all this hard work in. I've gone through my time of pain, especially there with the Three of Swords reversed. And now, finally, I'm getting back from the universe what I put in. I always kind of liken it to like putting a quarter in a gumball machine, and now finally this month ahead, you're getting that gumball out after having put the quarter in from the universe. And I feel like for a lot of you, this is related to career. This could also, however, be related to personal projects in general. So it could be like if you've been working on home repairs, this month ahead is going to be a really fruitful time for you, or the finality of, okay, now I'm finally done with these home repairs. Same thing with like if you've been working on, let's say, a creative project like paintings or maybe writing a book, whatever applies to you, pile number two. So this is a really good month for finishing things, for finishing your passions, reaping the fruits of your labor, and now you're finally overcoming this time of pain or struggle with, like I said, the Three of Swords reversed. And then two, I see, even though there's an element of finality to this, there's an element of, okay, I've put my effort in the garden, now I'm reaping what I sowed. It's not quite done yet this next month, pile number twos. And the reason I say that is because you have the Death card reversed. You also have the Page of Wands reversed, all right? And what that means together for me, for you, pile twos, is things aren't quite done yet. And there's also time, or it's a very good time for you, you're being highly encouraged to explore your passions and your creativity even more in this next month. So as far as you think you've come, and as much as you think you're getting done, I feel like the month ahead is going to be all those things you've been working hard on, kind of put on steroids and speeding into the future even more. So in a positive way, not in an overwhelming, oh no, I'm drowning under work type way. It's whatever you've been working on, pile number twos, that's been a little bit of a struggle recently here, especially with, Nine of Pentacles next to the Three of Swords reversed. Whatever you've been working on, this next month ahead is a perfect time to turbojet, like forward with either similar projects, especially too if there's creativity. You got the Page of Wands reversed at the end here. That's asking for even more of that energy. And so keep working on those paintings, keep working on writing. Even if you finish one, keep going, because this is a really fertile time for ideas to grow or to keep expanding on what you've already done, or, maybe even go the extra mile in this next month. It's a really good time of luck for going the extra mile with this thing. Like, let's say you finish a book, writing it, just for example, and you're sitting there and you're like, okay, well, I got the book done, what do I do now? Speed through forward on editing it, or, submit it to a publisher a lot faster than you thought you normally would have, let's say, just for example, because it's a time of a lot of fruition and success based on how much effort you put in. It's not only the universe catching up with the effort you already put in that hasn't really been rewarded quite yet, it's also the universe saying, okay, well now that we're back to a time of not I don't want to say owing each other, it's got a negative connotation, but now that we're back to a time of not owing each other anything, let's walk in pace now together, hand in hand, where whatever you put in this next month, you're going to get more immediate results back out than you used to. Does that kind of make sense, pile number 2? So that's what I'm feeling. Also, it's a time to maybe a little bit more relaxation, especially if you have been going through a hard time of a lot of work here, because you do have to be gentle with yourself. Don't push yourself too hard in this next month, pile number 2s. You know, don't maybe nose to the grindstone as much as you have been. Just because, yes, you need time for rest, you need to take care of yourself, especially if you have been working very hard, but you also have permission and or are being highly encouraged to keep at least working a little bit more in this area of struggle in some more capacity in this next month, because it is a time of a lot of luck with return for your effort. Okay, does that make sense? 2, like I said, when these cards first came out, I feel like there's an element too of something that has not been fair to you is going to be repaid back or fixed in a way you don't expect. Because you got the Martin and the Foxglove. This is the card of mischief. You also have Nemesis, she who avenges, revenge, outcomes, justice. Something that hasn't been fair to you, pile number 2s, in this next month, you're going to see a time of payback for this unfairness, not quite in the manner that you expect. Like, for most of you, I'm feeling, or at least for some of you, I should say, it's like a time of, at your career, like maybe if you haven't been being paid fairly, all of a sudden you're going to start getting paid more fairly for your time and your effort. And you know, maybe it's in like a new, depending on the type of job you have, like a new customer, like you're going to get paid better with this one because the universe is almost kind of like paying you back for what, you know, you weren't getting with a different customer, depending on the type of job you have. And or it could be that perhaps if there's unfair treatment at your job with, say, your manager, just for an example, maybe that manager gets replaced and you're like, you get a brand new one that's way better and way nicer to you. So it's revenge or fairness paid back to you after a time of injustice in a way you're not quite expecting. I'm going to pull a little bit more tarot cards for you because I want to know why or how, what's going on with that. Spirit, for my lovely pile number 2s, could you give me 3 cards explaining more about what's this mischievous justice coming about? 3 cards, please. Thank you, for their highest best good. What's going on with that? Okay, 1, 2. That one right there, 3. Okay, excuse me. What's going on with this justice here? We have the 4 of Wands. Okay, 4 of Wands is happiness at home, celebration. Interesting. And we have the 6 of Cups, nostalgia or childhood or times in the past. Weird. Huh. And then we have the 2 of Cups, which is relationships and harmony. So pile 2s, I feel like this mischievous justice coming for you in the next month is something to do with a situation that involves not only your home or like a social event celebration, people from your past, especially because you got the 6 of Cups next to the 2 of Cups. It could be like an ex-partner who wronged you getting their just desserts, or it could be like, if this is like a job-related thing, there's something that was better in the past that's returning. Like a person from the past at your job that's returning. Maybe if it is like a poor manager that's being replaced, it's like someone who was better before that's coming back to take their position, and then you'll have a better manager. Something to that effect. Something that feels like, yeah. And or with the 4 of Wands being the card of like being happy at home or celebration, it's like you finally being celebrated for something that you did in the past that wasn't justly rewarded before. Like recognition that you deserve, but you didn't quite get at the time that you accomplished that thing. That's kind of what I'm feeling for you, pile number 2s. And or it could be something to do with a dispute about a house with like either a family member, especially because when I see the Two of Cups next to the Six of Cups is like childhood, and the Two of Cups is like relationships. So relationships from childhood make me think of like family usually. Something to do with justice in a way you're not expecting, with a house or housing situation with a family member. That's almost kind of what I'm feeling for some of you. That's how I would read it for different situations, pile number 2s. So expect that in the next month. There's some justice you're not expecting that'll come about in a really unique way to right the wrongs of the past. Okay, that's what I'm feeling. So let's clear the board here. We're going to talk about your advice for the next month ahead. Well, actually, before I do that, let me look at your cards one last time and make sure I didn't miss anything about the predictive elements. Yeah. Also, another thing, pile number 2, is I want to say it's also a really good time for you in the next month, I feel, for paying attention to things that you thought were done or thought were complete, like with finality, but that aren't actually, like there's more room for opportunity there that you didn't quite see in the past. I know that's kind of vague, but I'm seeing, especially with the Four of Cups reversed next to the Death card reversed, like something not quite finished. And you realizing that with paying attention with the Four of Cups reversed. Interesting. In a positive way. So pay special attention in the next month to times where you felt like something was a door closed, but it's not quite closed yet. Look in those areas for opportunities is what I'll tell you. All right, so let's move on to the advice section of your reading. Pile number 2 is kind of parting wisdom from Spirit for the month ahead on how to navigate this situation, okay? So these are the oracle cards we discussed earlier, and then I'll shuffle your tarot deck and draw your cards on camera like I like to do. Oopsie. That was a poor shuffle, my friends. Sometimes I'm really good at shuffling, sometimes I'm not. Okay, we're going to do that again because that is not how a tarot reader shuffles a deck. All right, are we ready? We're going to do it perfect this time. There we go. Voila. Spirit, for my lovely pile number 2s, could you give me 5 cards of advice for them for the next month ahead as they navigate this time of fruits of their labor, getting over hard times? Okay, there's, well, 2 that already, okay, 3. Wow, okay. Spoiler alert, you got the 5 of Wands as 1. You also got these 2 cards first, so let's make sure they're sequential in order. And then your last 2, well, for sure that one. Number 4 and... right there, 5. Okay, pile 2s. Let's review your oracle cards. Your angel guide oracle of advice today is friendship and union. Beautiful. Getting close with those that you're connected with. Your vintage wisdom card for today is peace. Gorgeous. You're going to have a really good month this next month, pile number 2. I'm feeling it. Yeah, especially too, like I said, it's like after a time of a lot of struggle, there's finally some peace coming. It's going to be a lot more restful. Interesting. And then your tarot cards, the first one is the Keeper of Boons or the King of Pentacles reversed, okay? Asking for more mastery of the physical world around you. So that's kind of like I was saying, is really focus on, yes, things will come to fruition this next month for you, pile 2s, but really focus on even mastering the material world around you even more because it's such a fruitful time for you. It's like taking advantage when the going is good. Let's see, the Child or the Page of Cups, or Visions, upright actually. Exploring our emotions. How we feel, dancing in the rain, right? And then, well, the 5 of Wands, you already saw it kind of flipped over. 5 of Wands is about battle of egos, battle of will, battle of passion sometimes. Number 4, we have the Child of Challenges or the Page of Swords reversed. Page of Swords reversed is all about asking for more exploration of the way we think about things. Pondering. She's got her hand to her chin like, like the statue of the thinker, right? And last but not least, we have the White Heart or the Fool reversed. Being careful of risks. Being careful as we set on a new journey. That's how I'll read the Fool reversed. Okay, one moment, pile 2. So I want to make sure I have the message cohesively put together for you. So just a second. Yeah, so I do see pile 2's. Remember earlier you had be gentle with yourself. I'll just hold that up on camera again. You had be gentle with yourself. So even though this is a really fruitful time, I did emphasize earlier, you know, maybe not pushing yourself as hard or not having to push yourself as hard as you did in the past with that 3 of Swords reverse that came up earlier along with the 9 of Pentacles in the first part of your reading. That is really emphasized here too with peace having come out with your Vintage Wisdom Oracle right here. Peace. Really focus on this next month of gaining peace where you can, making things more streamlined to make things easier for yourself. 2, especially because you did get the Fool reversed, and the Fool reversed is all about being careful about risks on the way to a new adventure. Okay, the Fool is the beginning. It's the number 0 in tarot. The beginning and the end. The start of a new journey, right? And of course, like, we can go full gung-ho on a new journey. And that's great to have that energy of excitement and, oh, here I'm off to, you know, I'm off to see the wizard, right? But that is a warning, just a little piece of advice in the next month. Wherever you start new ventures, be careful of risks. Think through things slowly. All right. Also be careful about doing things out of ego, okay? Because you did get the 5 of Wands here, upright. 5 of Spells in this particular deck. That's about being careful about battles of ego. So especially like earlier I was saying, like, I feel like you're going to get justice in a way that you're not expecting. It might be really, and I'm not saying you're going to do this, but in general, pile number 2 is it might be really easy to feel like, oh, I want to gloat. That person got their just desserts, haha. You know, and we all... you know, as humans, we do feel that way when we do get justice served to us. Like, oh, finally, everything's been righted with the universe and, you know, I'm getting paid back for that thing that, you know, I lost, or someone's getting their just desserts, right? But go through this next month with more grace of, you know what? I'm going to let my human ego go. I'm going to let the universe handle karma here, okay? And I'm just going to accept the gift that I've been given and justice given to me. Okay, not that I'm saying you're an egotistical person, number 2, or pile number 2s, but it's just that with that 5 of Wands coming out, and especially as an advice card being the central card, it's warning a little bit of try not to get into battles of ego in this next month, all right? Also, too, we have reflected once again in not only the Page of Swords reversed, but in the King of Pentacles reversed here at the beginning. These 2 cards, I'll point at them. This time really being emphasized as a good time of taking advantage of the successes you're having. Yes, there was a time before this month of you putting in a lot of work and not getting that gumball after you put the quarter in the machine, metaphorically speaking. But really, if you can, focus on mastering the material world around you, creating things, okay? Pushing forward at your job, in your career, whatever. Really thinking and pondering more about what opportunities have I not taken yet? What are things that I want to do? And exploring your emotions too with the Page of Cups. What do I feel? Okay. Things like that. And letting that guide you as you take advantage of this time of opportunity, of fruition, after a time of hardship. So your advice here, pile 2s, is not so much about, like, it's not like bad things are going to happen. I don't feel like they're not really warning you of, yes, for sure, like, oh, there's going to be a risk, or you might get into a battle of ego. It's just giving you a little bit of a heads up and warning you to try to stray away or pay close attention to times where your ego is threatened, or where it's tempting to lean into ego more. And paying close attention to times where there might be some risks when you start new ventures, especially if you're coming to a time of close with certain things that have finally come to fruition and you're thinking, well, I want to start a new project or I want to do something new. Don't ride the high of ego when you go into this new adventure. Come at it from a place of humility, and I'm still learning, and I need to be just as careful as I was the first time doing this process of creativity or this job or this creative project or, insert thing here, whatever it is that's coming to fruition for you in the next month. And yes, be gentle with yourself, pile number 2. Focus on peace, being a little bit more, yes, it is a time of fruition and you're being encouraged to keep being fruitful, but focus on some self-care as well. Let's see if there's any other advice. And then 2, you have friendship and union. Also, a piece of advice here for you in the next month, pile 2, is really focus on celebrating your achievements with your friends and your family members, your loved ones, right? Also celebrating their achievements with them. There's something I'm feeling in that area being emphasized in this next month for you. So maybe if you have a close friend or a family member that you haven't seen in a while or you haven't spent time with in a while, maybe in the next month, consider, hey, I'm going to go spend some time with that person and just catch up with them. And I think because there's something about their journey and the path that you're taking where you're both going to benefit each other in terms of either relating to each other based on the struggles you're both at in your life right now, or perhaps they've already gone through something you're going through or vice versa, and then you can give advice to each other. It's something that will help you on this time of new projects, this time of fruition of old projects, and giving advice. That's what I'm feeling intuitively for you, pile number 2. Let me look at your cards one last time before I sign off. I just want to make sure I didn't miss anything. Let's see here. Also, one last thing I'm being told intuitively, if this is a time of, and I think this might have been why you were drawn to approve as your card, pile number 2, if you've recently been going through a situation where you've been waiting on approval for something, maybe it's like for a loan or getting published with something or your art being recognized, something in that area of I'm waiting for the approval of somebody else, maybe even like a new job or a promotion, this is a really good month for that here because of your approved card. And I think that's why that energy of newness with the Fool reverse is coming in, and then a lot about like taking advantage or like being more fruitful with the material world around you. Could also be like a home approval too, like maybe you're buying a home or a new place to rent. It's a good time for that, pile number 2, if you've been waiting for approval on something. So I'll leave you with that. All right, well, as always, pile number 2, I hope that reading was helpful for you. I wish you a wonderful rest of your day. Congrats on your projects coming to fruition and, well, justice being served. That's always a good feeling, right? And also taking more time for self-care and your relationships. Okay, have a wonderful rest of your day, and I hope to see you in the next reading, pile number 2. Bye. Hello there, my lovely pile number 3s. Welcome to your pick a card reading today on the topic of what to expect in the month ahead. As you recall, your pile leader you chose today was Ponder. We have some goldfish going over a pond. Beautiful little scene. We'll set your pile leader over here next to the pine cone as always. And just really quick, this reading will be in 2 different sections. First, we'll talk about the actual predictions for the month ahead. And then the second section will be advice, kind of parting wisdom from Spirit on how to navigate the month ahead. So we'll split those cards right now. We'll talk about these ones later. And then, of course, I like to draw the tarot cards on screen. So, Spirit, for my lovely pile number 3s, could you give me 5 cards explaining what for them to expect in the month ahead, please? For their highest best good. What to expect in the month ahead for pile 3s. Let's see here. That one right there. Actually, I'm going to do the one next to it too. Number 3. Sorry. For those of you familiar with my videos, I'm trying a new method. I'm finding this method of picking cards is a little bit more accurate, so. Right there, number 5. There we go, pile number 3s. Let's reveal your oracle cards first. So, from the Woodland Wardens Oracle, you received the Ram and Dahlia. Determination. The Ram and Dahlia. Determination. Interesting. Next, from the Nature's Whispers Oracle, you received Shift Your Energy, number 19. It's like day turning into night, seasons turning. Interesting. Shift your energy. Beautiful card. Of course, like I always say, Nature's Whispers is just a gorgeous deck in general, but then your Elle Qui for today is Desiree, she who yearns. Yearn, longing, pine for. I see. There's a picture forming here, pile number 3s. I will not speak quite yet on that yet until we reveal your tarot cards, though. So, tarot card number 1, we have the 9 of Spells or Wands reversed. That's about being determined or asking for more determination in some area. Which is interesting because you got determination with the Ram and Dahlia. A lot about determination in the next month. Focusing on your goals. Number 2, we have the 3 of Wands. Taking action on plans made for the future. Taking action. Yep. Number 3, we have the Seeker, or the Knight of Challenges or Swords reversed. So the Knight of Swords reversed is all about asking for more action in terms of the mind. Taking action with the mind. Number 4, we have the 10 of Boons, or the 10 of Pentacles reversed. Sometimes that can mean feeling like we lack fruition of material goals. Sometimes it can mean some issues with inheritance or legacy. Sometimes that's what it's known as, kind of a family-oriented card sometimes. And then last but not least, we have the Child of Visions, or the Page of Cups, exploring our emotions. So one moment of silence here as I look over your cards, pile number 3s, to put together a cohesive message for you. Let me just rearrange everything to make it look pretty as well. Not that what the reading looks like matters, but let's be organized, right? 1 second. So pile number 3s. What's really standing out for me, for you, this next coming month is you're coming into this next month from a time of maybe some frustration with one of your goals or multiple goals. That's the past energy leading into this month ahead. You have been trying to do something. You've been trying to seek something, and it's like you can't quite find it. The imagery I'm being told intuitively is like you're looking through a whole junk drawer of things, and you need just that one specific tool or that one specific little bauble. But unfortunately, it's like in the recent past, you just have not been able to find it. And so you're coming into this month ahead with a feeling of, I'm a little frustrated. Should I just give up? Especially with the 9 of Wands reversed here at the beginning. But what I am seeing for you, whatever it is, this thing that you've been desiring, especially with Desiree, you're in pine for longing, you're being encouraged in the month ahead to keep going. Not just because you got the 3 of Wands, which is taking action on plans that we've made, but because you have such an emphasis on being determined, okay? Your Ram and the Dahlia is determination, right? Also, the 9 of Wands reversed is about keeping going even when the battle gets tough. Because in this next month ahead, I get the feeling that you're going to, if not get the thing that you've been desiring or reaching the goal that you've been desiring, at the very least, you're going to make a lot of progress towards it. And the key to that in the next month, pile number 3, is in the Shift Your Energy card here from Nature's Whispers. I'll just unveil it a little bit more here. Shift your energy. There's something about this goal or this aspiration, this dream, where you haven't quite seen the right way to get there yet, and that's why you've been having some frustration and struggle. And this next month is After you shift this energy and you look in a place that you haven't looked yet, or you try to tackle it from an angle or see it from a different angle you haven't tried yet, that's what's going to be the instigator, the inciting instant of progress in this area after a time of your fields lying fallow, metaphorically speaking. It's like all of a sudden there's going to be this revelation of, oh, what if I tackle it from this way? Or, oh, what if I try this path towards this goal? You know, what if I search this part of the metaphorical junk drawer? And then either you'll make a lot of progress towards that goal or dream, or you'll find the answer that you've been looking for, whatever that might be for you specifically, pile number 3s, okay? It's a great time this next month of taking action based on your plans, especially with the 3 of Wands right there. And I also see, especially there with the Knight of Swords reversed, it's asking for more energy in the mind. Yes, a lot more mental exploration here, taking more action based on thought, especially too because your pile leader is ponder, and pondering is to think about things, okay? Really, wherever you're struggling in this next month, pile number 3s, whatever issue you've been having or something you've been debating over, think deeper and think in a different way than you have. I especially see because you have the 10 of Pentacles reversed. And then the Page of Cups right next to it. It's something that you're emotionally invested in, related to either money matters or inheritance matters, or apologies for the motorcycle sound, related to money, inheritance, or like legacy, what's passed down type matters. It could specifically be something with your family and or your success with monetary things in that area. It's a dream of yours, and you're like, I really want this dream to work out. I really want success in this area, but there's something that I'm just not tackling it at the right angle quite yet. And so the next month is finally that shift, that transition to be on the cusp of a new perspective here, especially with the Knight of Swords reversed, right? Reversals are a lot about needing more of that energy, thinking more about it in a different way, and finding that emotional happiness with this after you shift your energy into thinking about it. You just, the one little piece of side note though is what I was saying before about determination. You can't give up now. You have to keep going through and being determined with this goal in this next month, pile number 3s, because you're right almost there. It's just one little teeny, the imagery I'm getting is like a little teeny dial switch, a little bit of a radio tune. And once you shift that little radio tune dial to the next channel, then you'll have exactly what you're looking for, and or you'll be making at the very least, a big step in that direction towards what it is that you're seeking. Or even if it's like you're not even sure what your goal is or what you want, it's a next shift or step in the direction of defining that, fine-tuning things, okay? That's what I'm seeing for you in the next month so far, pile number 3s. Let's see if there's any other messages here, especially in different areas of your life. It's just a very good time to be determined and to keep going, to fine-tune. Pile number 3 is another thing too, is in terms of your goals. This is also, and I'm seeing this a lot with all the piles today, it must be a collective energy type thing. It's a really fruitful month ahead for you of making new plans as well, trying new things, especially with the emphasis on shift your energy. It's like looking in places you haven't looked before, thinking in ways that you haven't thought before. It would also be a really good month. I'm being told, and I know this is really weird and random, but there's something about looking into philosophy, I'm being told for you. Philosophy, looking into different philosophers, looking into different, it could even expand to maybe like looking into different self-help type reading books, spirituality, a lot about, I'm being told Plato for some reason. Plato. Yeah, Plato. So look into Plato a little bit more in this next month, pile number 3. Is there something about, for some reason, I know it's really random, but it's intuitive and it comes forward. There's something about reading about or learning about Plato that's going to be helpful for you in the next month, okay? Let's see, anything else I'm picking up for you in the next month here, pile 3s. 1 second, apologies for the silence. Another thing I'm being told intuitively, pile number 3, is if you come across a time in the next month where you might butt heads with other people that are just kind of in your way in terms of, especially if you're seeking these goals, right? And there might be people who are in your way in terms of, oh, that won't work out. Or they say things like, oh, well, I think that's a bad idea. Or they're, especially in like career or work or whatever it is that are your goals right now, people that they just make the road tougher. Try to lean away from those people a little bit more in the next month. That I think that's another aspect of the shift your energy type message. Look away from the opinions of others that aren't serving you. I mean, yes, it's good to weigh other people's opinions in terms of advice when it comes from a good place, okay? When they have your best interests in mind, right? When they're looking out for you. But sometimes we listen to other people a little bit too much, and we don't listen to ourselves enough. So that's another aspect of the month ahead here I'm feeling for you, pile 3s, is look more towards people who are supportive of you, and look away a little bit more from people who are almost like a ram in your path. They're being stubborn. They want to butt heads. No, you can't do that. No, that's not good for you. No, that's a bad idea. Like, yes, sometimes it's helpful to have people like that to kind of rein us in and try to help us avoid risks, right? Sometimes they do have our best interests in mind, but this month ahead especially is a good time to let go of a little bit of their pessimism and look more towards people who are more optimistic, more supportive, okay? Especially in this time where you're seeking your dreams and your goals. You don't need the naysayers when you're trying to be determined, okay? That's like running up a hill and letting someone chop at your leg with an axe on the way as you're trying to get up the hill. It's like, okay, I appreciate the axe, but, or maybe you don't, but I need my legs intact to run up the hill. So that's really kind of morbid metaphor, but you know what I'm trying to say here, pile number 3s. And then, yes, you see Page of Cups. 1 second here. Also, one other thing I'm being told for you, pile 3s, is explore how these goals make you feel. There's something about exploring what emotion is driving you with these dreams. Or what emotions, I should say, plural, could be more than one. And focusing on that, because that will also help you, I feel like, become more determined to keep seeing this through no matter how hard it's been. Focusing on your emotions, exploring your emotions more. Very fruitful time. All right, let's see. I want to make sure, I don't want to rush ahead to the advice section because I want to make sure there's nothing else here for you in the next month. I want to have you leaving the reading with as much advice as I can give you, right? Much of a heads up. Yeah, there's just a lot about overcoming turbulent waters, overcoming times of trouble in terms of reaching your goals. It's a very good month. I'm really happy to say that all piles today seem to be having a pretty good month ahead. I don't always have 100% positive readings, but it seems like today it's been for everybody. That's good. Yeah, just keep being determined, pile number 3s. Keep going. I know it's hard. It's really emphasized. Also, there's a lot about exploring emotions with your family, I feel like, is another aspect of the month ahead. How you feel about certain family members or how you feel about the future of your family, especially here with the 10 of Pentacles reversed. You know, it's like a family dining together in one central location. Maybe even a family gathering. Something about that. I'm hearing something about being more open and vulnerable with your emotions with your family. That's another aspect of the month ahead, pile threes, okay? So we'll leave off with that and move on to the advice section for the month ahead for you. I'm going to clear the board here. Or I should say the desk. I always make that mistake. I say the board and it's actually a desk, but excuse me. Let's shuffle your tarot deck. Put your oracle cards over here that we talked about earlier. Spirit, for my lovely pile number threes, could you give me 5 cards of advice on navigating the month ahead for them? What do you want them to know in terms of how? 5 for the best, highest good. Definitely that one is sticking out, and then that one right there too. Right there. I'm gonna pick that one too with it, 4, and let's see. Right there, 5. Okay. Get our ducks in a row, nice and organized. So, for your advice section, we have from the Angel Guide Oracle, Mother, Father, God. Being in touch with the world around us, balancing feminine and masculine energy. Especially, too, we think of mother, father, family. A little bit of emphasis on family this next month, pile threes. Then your Vintage Wisdom Oracle for today is Strength. Being powerful, being strong. And then let's look at your tarot cards for today. We have the Weaver, or the Queen of Spells / Wands reversed. Asking for more internal confidence as you go forward. Maybe that's part of what the determination issue has been, pile threes, is you've been feeling like a lack of confidence, and so they're asking for more emphasis of confidence in the next month. Or they're advising you, I should say. Number 2, the Black Shuck, which is death in most cards, or decks, I should say. Transition to a new phase. 3, the 6 of Boons, or 6 of Pentacles, fairness, equality, equal distribution, sharing. That actually looks really cozy. I'd love to cuddle with a bunch of bunnies, wouldn't you? Number 4, we have the 6 of Challenges, which is the 6 of Swords, moving on to a place that serves us better. Running away from the wolves. I always just love the face of this, the being in this card. She looks, yeah. We've all had times in our life where we've had that face, haven't we? And then last but not least, we have the 10 of Cups reversed. 10 of Cups reversed is about emotional fulfillment, or feeling like we lack, or focusing on it more, especially being reversed. So 1 second as I look over your cards here, pile number threes. Yeah, so, I mean, going from the, off of what we said in the first part of your reading, pile threes, there's still a lot of emphasis about that determination we talked about with the Ram and the Dahlia. You had also the 9 of Wands that you had reversed earlier. That is being really emphasized here, even in the second section of your reading. Whatever your goals are, as hard as it is, pile number threes, keep going. Not just because you have the card of Strength, which is someone who's holding up the world, or I should say the sky more like, because there's stars and the suns, right? Holding up the world on her shoulders very gracefully. You have the strength that you need to get through this, pile number threes. You have the strength to get through the time of hardship before the goals come to fruition, right? You're almost there. You have the strength to look at it from a different perspective. 2, with the Queen of Wands reversed here at the beginning. That is asking for more energy in terms of internal confidence with our passions, what drives us with our willpower. Someone, you know, she's having a great time just dancing along. She's confident. She feels happy. She is secure in herself, right? And so, like I was saying, I feel like part of the reason maybe why determination has been, like, you felt like giving up on something is because of a lack of internal confidence. Oftentimes when we try to achieve our goals, when we don't reach it in the time that we expect, or with the certain efforts that we've made towards it, it can knock our confidence because we think, well, is there something wrong with me? Is there something that I did wrong? And what I'm being told here with this reading, pile threes, is it's not your fault. It's nothing wrong with you. It's just that, excuse me, ooh, my voice scratched a bit. It's just that, it just needed that little fine tweak. Remember I talked about earlier with that radio tune? That little fine tweak of shifting your energy a little bit, and that's what's going to happen in this next month. But on the way there, before the fine tune, the click of the mental shift comes in, I'm like, oh, that's what I need to do, right? Keep going and know that it's not your fault. You have what it takes. And you're going to shift into a new time of achieving your goals here, or at least fine-tuning them, really seeing the whole entire picture clearly. Because you got the Death card, and that's about shifting from one phase of life into another. You're going to overcome that threshold. It's just hanging on until you get there, okay? Having the strength to keep holding up the heavy burden of uncertainty and insecurity, the heavy burden of being determined when it feels like we're not getting the feedback that we desire, either from the universe or from other people. Hanging on and knowing, okay, I just need a little bit more of a shift, a little bit more of a fine tune, and then bam, Death card, shifting into a new phase, okay? Really focus, too, in the next month on moving away from things that stress you out with the Six of Swords here. I mean, literally, she's got chased up the tree by a bunch of wolves. She has the face we talked about earlier, the funny, oh dear God face. Moving away from what doesn't serve you anymore, especially in terms of reaching these goals or these dreams. And what doesn't serve you anymore in this situation, pile number three, is not only a focus on, okay, what actually makes me feel emotionally fulfilled and happy with the Ten of Cups reversed here, focusing on what would be your happily ever after. If you could answer that question, what would be your happily ever after, pile number threes, and focus on that, and distance yourself with the Six of Swords here away from things that don't fit your happily ever after in this next month, okay? Then, too, with the Six of Pentacles, focus on what makes you happy in terms of what's fair to you. Equal distribution is what the Six of Pentacles is all about. Oftentimes the traditional depiction is someone holding up literally a pair of justice scales and being equally distributing money to two different people that both need it, okay? Move away from people or situations that don't equally share the burden in achieving these goals, okay? In terms of, like we were saying before, you don't need someone that's chopping at your legs with an axe as you're trying to run up a hill. Move away from the people that don't support you, pile number three. So I know, like I said, that's a morbid thing, but it's the imagery that came to mind. Yeah. People who are going to equally support and help you with your dreams, rather than people that are just going to naysay and maybe that's another reason why your confidence has been knocked down, is people naysaying things here with the Queen of Wands reversed, okay? You have the strength, you have what it takes. It's just shifting your energy, like we said before. I'll pull her out again. Shifting your energy just a little bit, looking at things in a different way, fine-tuning just a little bit. It's like you've been looking at one certain thing for a long time, and what it requires to meet your goals or your dreams in the next month here is just a tiny little shift of a glance in a different direction, okay? Searching through that junk drawer of, okay, I'm looking for, say, I don't know, a twist tie in the junk drawer or tape or something, whatever you store in your junk drawer, everyone's different, but, and maybe just a tiny glance somewhere else in a different corner that you haven't looked yet, okay? Let's see if there's any other pieces of advice here before I sign off with you, pile three. Is that too with Mother, Father, God here? That's about like a balance of, number one, it's about the universe is all connected with each other, right? We're all a piece of each other. We're all stardust. We're all have been a million things before and will be a million things after, right? Connectedness with the universe. And connectedness with creation, and that creation is everything, depending on your beliefs, but in general, even if you look at it from a scientific perspective or a spiritual perspective, we've all been one thing or another at one time, and will be another thing again in the future. And so really connecting that with the godliness within yourself, that can help boost your confidence as well in saying, hey, I am a creation being. I am a creator myself. I am a collaborator in the universe, and I can create the things that I desire, my dreams that I'm looking for, these goals, right? My happily ever after with the 10 of Cups, right? I can create these things. I have the power. It's innate within me. I am a god. I mean, of course, not in the egotistical way of, look at me, I'm a god, right? But you know what I'm trying to say, though? Like, we're all equal collaborators in the universe, okay? We're all artists painting on a shared canvas, is another metaphor to use. So really lean on that and think about it from almost a spiritual perspective, too, as you try to attain your goals in this next month, pile 3s. And then 2, balancing feminine and masculine energy, okay? The feminine is the nurturing, the creativity. The masculine is the order, the logic, okay? The authority. Those type of energies, balancing them together, achieving your goals with, okay, like let's say the goal is to, this is a really simple just example, but say the goal is I'm going to raise a sunflower plant, right? I'm going to grow a sunflower plant. The feminine energy is nurturing it, paying it special attention with water, giving it a good place to grow, and then masculine energy in growing that metaphorical sunflower, being a symbol for your goals, right, is protecting it from the elements, making sure that you're putting it in a place where it's going to grow best with the right sunlight, that type of thing. Of course, that's just an example, but that's what you're being encouraged to do with your goals this next month, and shifting, maybe even defining your goals. Look at it from the different perspective of feminine and masculine energy here, pile number 3 is okay. And just remember, the lasting thing I want to leave with you today as you walk away from this reading is, remember equal distribution in terms of fairness with your goals. Other people pulling their weight, if they're a part of these goals, right? Looking to what emotionally fulfills you, what is your happily ever after, and then knowing you have the strength to keep going, at least when it's still a little bit tough on the way to the cusp of realizing what these goals are and or achieving them, okay? You have everything you need. So if you find yourself feeling insecure in this next month about these goals, pile number 3s, just remember the God energy of we're all collaborators and creators in a shared universe, okay? Collaborators on reality. So I'll leave you with that, pile number 3s. As always, I hope that reading was helpful for you. I wish you a wonderful rest of your day, and I hope to see you in the next reading. Bye, pile 3s.